Now 2024 was without doubt an amazing year when it comes to races, adventures and travelling. What with the year starting off when we both ran the amazing Ultra X Scotland and had 2 fantastic days of running around the world famous Loch Ness. I then took on 100 miles. First time I've run that distance for a long time. Happy to say I made it to the finish line of the South Downs Way 100. So we managed to tick that box off as well. And then we headed out to Chamonix to get Liga prepared and well trained for her biggest challenge to date, taking on the CCC at UTMB. What an incredible experience and performance it was. It was just amazing to watch, and without doubt, my biggest highlight of 2024. And we will have Liga's race day video coming to the channel soon. We can't forget our trip to Switzerland after Chamonix, where I took on UTMR 60k, and then a quick trip to Norway to run the Ferry Trail. So, you know, it really was an epic year, but it was all finished off with what can only be described as a mind-blowing life experience when we both ran Ultra X Jordan. I mean, an incredible experience. We were so privileged to be out there running in the incredible Wadi Rum desert, and it really was more of a life experience than a race. But that's enough of 2024. Let's dive into the video and find out what we're going to be up to race-wise in 2025. This is always an exciting video to make, telling you guys, our wonderful viewers, all about the plans we've got for the year. But thanks for tuning in again. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. So I was thinking the other day, the channel has been quite running shoe content heavy of late, so I thought it was about time for a bit of a switch up, and we told you all about the exciting race and travel plans we've got for 2025. And funnily enough, it all kicks off this weekend coming with an event close to home, and actually a race that neither of us have run before, and it is the Bodmin Way Beastly Half Marathon. The race actually takes place on the Bodmin Way, funnily enough, but the route was actually designed to link up 5 prominent churches back in the day. It's a little bit over half marathon in distance, so around about 14 miles with 1,800 feet of elevation. So we're going to have some ups and downs along the way. Actually kicks off in the centre of Bodmin, and then we head out on a multi-terrain route, and we're going to run through some beautiful places. So Lanhydrock National Trust Estate, we've also got the Redmoor Nature Reserve, we go up to the Bodmin Beacon, and we run through the beautiful Cardinham Woods. So should be a really interesting route. I'm pretty sure entries are still open, and they're going to remain open until race morning, unless the event sells out, obviously. They're also going to be running a full marathon at the same time, but if any of you fancy joining us on the start line at 9:45 on Sunday the 27th, then I'll leave a link in the description below for the race website, and you never know, we might see some of you guys there. Next on the list is a race that we've been going to ever since it started, and it's put on by good friends Tom and Nikki from Freedom Racing, and it is their brilliant KVK. Now, if you haven't come across this race before, it's definitely worth checking out in a bit more detail because it is on a stunning route here in Cornwall. The race is actually on a figure of 8 loop, and you can take it on as a 2-man team or you can do it solo, and it's 15 miles in distance out on some gorgeous coastal trails, inland trails. You go up to St Agnes Beacon, but you do have a challenging 1,000 meters of elevation along the way, hence the name KVK. I've actually filmed at the race several times over the years, and I'll leave links in the description below for those videos. So if you are thinking about doing the race, definitely go and check those videos out because it really does show off the amazing atmosphere and the incredible route of the KVK. You got some epic sections of Cornish Coast Path. You actually go up and over St Agnes Beacon 4 times in the race, and on a sunny clear day, the views from there are spectacular and definitely worth the effort. So without doubt, it is a challenging 15 miles of coast path and quite steep, gnarly climbs and long, drawn-out descents, but it is more than achievable. But if you're not up to that, then obviously you can do it as a team, and you could run one 7.5-mile loop each. Both myself and Liga will be running, and actually the channel is a sponsor of the event again, and it's so good to be involved. We'll have some great prizes for those racing snakes that take the podium spots, but we'll also have a small merch store there. So if you have been watching and supporting the channel for years, then definitely pop over and see us. We're going to have a good selection of Run4Adventure caps, t t-shirts, camping mugs, multi-wraps and lots more. So hopefully we will get to meet some of our viewers and put faces to names. So mark it on the calendar, the 10th of May at the KVK. And that rhymed. I'm a poet and I don't know it. Up next is a real fun sounding event, and this has been a little bit last minute because we were working on some other plans. Unfortunately that fell through, but we've discovered this and it is called Farmmageddon. So on the 24th of May we're going to be travelling up to Buntingford and taking on their looped event. And it's been some time since I've taken on a looped race, and I've got to be honest, I've kind of missed them because there's always a great atmosphere, you know, all the runners are running that same loop, you're all out there helping and supporting each other, making sure that everybody gets back to that finish line. The race is actually based at Hyde Hall Farm, so hence the name Farmmageddon, and there is lots of different distances to choose from over the weekend, starting at sort of 5k all the way up to 100 miles, and they'll all take place on the same 5.3 kilometre loop. So the plan for the race is that League is going to be taking on their ultra at 32 miles, and I'm going to be taking on their 12-hour challenge. So basically, how far can I run in that 12-hour period? And you know, these races are always tough mentally because they're the only events you'll ever do where if you go and lie down and sleep for 5 hours, you're getting nearer to the finish. So it really is tough to sort of keep yourself mentally motivated to keep moving. But it should be a great weekend away in the adventure bus, and we should get some real good training in our legs in a friendly and supportive atmosphere of a looped event. So Farmmageddon, here we come. But moving on, we are going into July, and this is the first race to always get penciled into the calendar at the start of the year, and it is the brilliant Freedom Racing Serpent Trail. It just wouldn't be right if we didn't make our annual pilgrimage up to Petersfield for the Serpent Trail weekend. Now, if this is an event you've never heard of, you've never been there, then it's definitely worth checking out because there's always an amazing atmosphere at Race HQ. A lot of the runners camp there over the weekend, so there's this real sort of festival vibe to it, and there is literally a distance for everyone from 10k all the way up to 100 kilometres, and you run through some incredible landscapes including Greensands Hill, Lowland Heath and some beautiful woodland along the way. So it really is a lovely place to run. If you are umming and ahhing about entering the Serpent Trail, then I'd definitely recommend going along and watching some of the videos that we've made of the event over the years, because I think once you've watched them, you'll be getting yourself signed up because they really do highlight what a fantastic event it is. But also, if you're thinking about dipping your toe in the ultra world for the first time, I personally think that you couldn't do that at a better event than the Serpent Trail 50k. And the reason being is it's a super runnable route, it's really well waymarked, and on the day, I would say 60 to 70% of the runners that are standing beside you are in the same position, and it's their first ultra marathon. So that will give you lots of confidence on the day. I'm not sure what distance myself and Liga are going to be running this year, but we're definitely going to be there because there's always so much love and support for the channel at the Serpent Trail, and it's always great to meet so many wonderful viewers. The month of August is going to be a big one again because we are going to be heading off back to the French mountain town that we love so much of Chamonix. And you know, we're going to be hopefully plotting up for the whole month, and we're going to be training, making lots of content for you guys at home, racing and obviously drinking Moody's coffee and eating pastries because, you know, it'd be rude not to. And how can one go to Chamonix and not partake in a wonderful coffee? That is for sure. So we've actually got 2 races planned this year, and the first one being at the beginning of August, and it is the Trail de Hauts Forts, murdering the name of the race in my terrible French, but actually starts in Morzine, which is only an hour and a half drive away from Chamonix. If you followed the channel for some time, you might well recognise that race name because myself and Liga took on the 23k distance back in 2022 when an amazing viewer, Name, signed us up for the event without us even knowing because he knew that we were going to be in Chamonix because I was preparing for the TDS at UTMB, and he thought it would be a really good race in my sort of training build-up. So we met up with him on the morning, such a lovely guy, got chatting, got to know him better. We spent several hours out on the race route with him, and it was just fantastic. And like I said, such a kind gesture. The race is brilliant, well organised, a beautiful but challenging route, and we just had a fantastic day. And in fact, so much so, myself and Liga are going to be running the 52k at the event this year. It's definitely going to be a challenging 52k because we've got 3,800 meters of elevation to climb along the way, and having run out there before, we know that some of those climbs are extremely steep, but we really want to go out there and experience some more of the beautiful trails around Morzine. Plus, we thought it'd be a great start to our Chamonix trip, and believe it or not, the entry fee for this race, so a 52k mountainous race that takes lots of organisation, lots of logistics, there's a big start, you've got lots of checkpoints and a big finish, and we've entered it for only 55 euros. So that's about €1 per kilometre, and that's incredible value for such an epic race. And then towards the end of the month of August, both myself and Liga over UTMB week are going to be lining up on the start line of the ETC at UTMB. Now, this is actually a race I took on back in 2023 when I paired up with ASICS, and I had a fantastic time. Such an awesome event. It's only 15k in length, but you do have to climb 1,200 meters of elevation. So you literally start in Courmayeur and finish in Courmayeur, you run out of town, you go straight up a pretty steep climb over the summit, and then you take on one of the best runnable descents I've ever run in my life, all the way down to the finish line. I really did enjoy running a shorter race over UTMB week because, you know, there was none of that pressure, no sort of pre-race nerves building up to the event where you're worried whether you're going to complete the distance or survive to make it to the finish line. And I just think it's a great no pressure way of racing over UTMB week, and you still get those big race vibes because we're going to be lining up in Courmayeur with 1,000 other runners, so it's still a big field, and the plan is to get super fit beforehand, and then when we're in Chamonix, get some good mountain training in my legs, and I want to run it quicker than I did in 2023 and hopefully get as close to 2 hours as possible. August should be an awesome month, and it's going to be great to be back in Chamonix. And just to let you know, we are going to be holding another shakeout run on the Wednesday of UTMB week. We had such an incredible turnout last year. I think we had about 90 people come along for the run. Really social, out of town, by the river. Great to meet up with so many viewers and friends and guys who've travelled from Cornwall and guys who've travelled from all over the world. And you know, the turnout last year really did blow our mind. So hopefully we'll meet some of you guys out there. We can have that nice relaxed run and then back to Moody's for a coffee and a chat. And last but definitely not least, if you were following the channel towards the end of last year, then you'll know that we got an incredible opportunity to run in one of the most spectacular places in the world, the Wadi Rum Desert, as we took on Ultra X Jordan. Now, this was such an incredible event. It's quite hard to describe what we went through and what we experienced, and it's just way more than a race could ever be. So, you know, living in the desert for 5 days in traditional Bedouin tents, having to run 220 kilometers in that harsh desert environment, you know, the friendships that were forged in camp, and the incredible support that we got from all the crew and the local people helping out on the event. You know, it really was just a mind-blowing experience, and in fact so much so that we are going back to run another Ultra X event, but we're not heading to Jordan this time. Towards the end of the year, we're going to be running Ultra X Morocco. Now, Morocco has always been a place where Liga and myself have wanted to visit, so we thought this was the perfect opportunity, and hopefully it's going to be the sort of icing on the cake to another brilliant year of running adventures here at the channel. So the race takes place on the 15th and 16th of November. It is 110 kilometers in distance over 2 days with 1,300 meters of elevation. So 60k on day one, then we spend the night at a tented village, and then we go again on day two, and it's 50 kilometers all the way to the finish line. The race takes place around the city of Ouarzazate, which is actually nicknamed the door to the desert because it is positioned in south central Morocco, south of the high Atlantis mountains, and the route will take us through some traditional fortified villages, lush oases, and over rocky deserts, while being supported by the wonderful local population. And you know, if Ultra X Jordan is anything to go by, this should be another incredible life experience. And there you go, that is our race and adventure plan so far for this year, and we can't wait to bring all of you guys along with us on these adventures. And I think you'll agree, looks like it's going to turn out to be another fantastic year here at Run4Adventure. So gotta say a massive thanks to every one of you who's supported and watched the channel over the years, because without that support none of this would be possible, because that support has allowed us to go full-time with the channel and take on these amazing opportunities. So like I say, a massive thanks, because you know, we pinch ourselves every day because we are literally living the dream. And if any of you guys fancied joining us at any of the races that we've spoken about in today's video, or you just want to check them out in a bit more detail, I'll leave links to all the race websites in the description below, and you never know, we might bump into some of you at the start line of one of those races. But for now guys, thanks for watching, it's always appreciated. I really hope you're as excited about the year ahead as we are, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. If you haven't run this race before, it's definitely one to take a closer look at, because it is on a beautiful route down here in Cornwall. So it's actually, we actually go through the beautiful Lanhydrock National Trust estate. We go through the Redmoor Nature Reserve. So the race takes place on Saturday the 8th of June, and it all starts off at Rock, and then you head out along the beautiful